The Natural Environmental Research Council recently asked the internet for ideas as to what to name their new polar research vessel. What did the public have to say? Well, as of now, the most favored name is the RRS Boaty McBoatface. I love this story, Elliot. I really do. Okay, so just to give you guys a little bit of background, so this is actually going to be a pretty sophisticated new polar research vessel. It's supposed to cost the UK government about 200 to 300 million pounds. It's being produced in the northwest of England in Merseyside in the Camel Laird shipyard, and it's supposed to be operational in 2019 with 90 scientists and support staff. There's supposed to be pretty sophisticated technology aboard, such as robotic submarines and marine gliders, to essentially put the UK at the forefront of ocean research. But here's where it gets funny, because the Universities and Science Minister Joe Johnson asked the public to name the ship, and he wanted the name to reflect the sophistication of the ship itself. So the Natural Environment Research Council, on their website to name the ship, they said, quote, "The ship could be named after a local historical figure, movement, or landmark, famous polar explorer or scientist. We would like the name to be inspirational and about environmental and polar science to help us tell everyone about the amazing work the ship does." And what do we get? Boaty McBoatface.
Yeah,
what do you think?
Certainly inspiration. Yeah, it's $500,000 piece of equipment, and that's what's. I mean, it's light years ahead of in terms of the public vote. It's sort of like got 27,000 votes at the moment. The nearest one has got 3,000 votes, and it's the second place is Henry Worsley, who died. It's a little bit more serious. He died making the first unassisted solo crossing of the Atlantic. So there's a little bit more seriousness. Right. But I mean, it's not only. That's not the only name that people have come up with. It's just the most popular one. There's a couple of others, right?
Yeah, exactly.
What else you got?
This is great. So it starts with getting a little bit more silly. David Attenborough, you'd get it. You're like, oh, okay, yeah, Planet Earth. Then the next is Ice Baby, the RRS Boaty Prime.
Boaty Prime,
and
nice.
then, of course, not the Titanic. Which I just think
that's a good one.
It's just, to me, I mean, okay, so at the very least, NERC, the Natural Resource or the Environment Research.
That's an unfortunate.
Us at NERC take ourselves seriously, right?
Yes.
So they have actually decided that they're going to have the final say, which I think is a pretty good fail-safe, because you're like, come on, public, let's grow up, will you? But yeah, so I think, to me, it's just so funny when you give people the option. I mean, the commission's manager, or I'm sorry, the communication manager rather, at NERC, he had sort of flippantly said, like, well, you can call it Boaty McBoatface, blah, blah, blah. And then when people are like, yes, and then
I mean, and so he's now actually apologized for it. Now they're trying to put a brave face on it by saying, well, this is great that people are inspired by this, and they're not inspired by this. This is, I mean, it's just people having, the other ones that I saw were Usain Bolt. It's bloody cold here. The RSS is bloody cold here, and Pingu. So I mean, come on, they're not inspired. They're just taking an opportunity. It's kind of the lull between the New Year and Easter in England, or in the UK, and so everybody's just like, there's not a lot to do.
It's just absurd where people's priorities are, because then the website to name the boat has crashed multiple times because so many people are like, I gotta get on there. Like, it's amazing what people will find very important.
Yeah, nothing says high tech and money well spent like a crashed website and stupid names for boats.
Exactly.
Great.
So thank you, public. Thanks to you, we have a wonderful idea such as Boaty McBoatface.